Okay, wow. So what we have today is my doorstop guitar. And this guitar, the kids claim that I played it long ago, but in all honesty, I don't remember ever playing this guitar. I'm sure I did, but it would have been a long, long time ago. My grown-up kids, I mean. I've had a ton of kids. But this instrument got dropped and knocked around, and eventually, I've taken the strings off here and just tucked them on the inside. It had 2 strings left on it. So what we ended up doing with this was setting it up next to the wall near a place where we hung blankets to divide a room. And what ended up happening is every time someone would open the blanket, it would hit one of the strings on this guitar and it would go ding or ding or something. It was like a doorbell for a blanket divided room. And then it got moved, just kind of leaned up against a wall. And this guitar has been knocked over more times than I can count or remember. I don't even know how many times this guitar has hit the floor. The neck is still fitted well. Look at all the dust. See that? Look at there we go. Look at that. Dirt. Oh really? There we go. So yeah, in the spirit of Twofold, I'm going to try to bring this guitar back to life, and this will be the first time I've ever done anything like this with an acoustic. I have done bridge work on my Ibanez acoustic. I've done nut filing and fine tuning. I've done the frets on that acoustic and changed the strings a few times. This one I bought some stuff. Tuning machines are good, but the nut maybe not. The nut that was on it, I think, was broken. Yeah, it was broken. It had like chips taken out of the top of it. So I know that nut's not going to work. So I might actually need to order a new nut before I can even go too much further with this project. We'll see. We'll see. I'm erasing like over a decade or more, maybe 15 years or more of crap and dust all over this thing. It's a very soft brush. It's not scratching it or anything. Excuse me. Seems to be working better. These old bent snippers, and I'm just putting some cloth around it and then giving it a little pinch and then a pull, and this seems to be absolutely perfect. And I'm putting them off to the side in order. I don't want little bite marks on the sides, even though it really doesn't matter too much. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. It's essentially the same as the tool you would use, it's just a little meaner. But yeah, as you can see, it's just lifting like it's nothing at all. See that? Perfect. So maybe if you're watching and you need to do this and you're like, oh crap, I don't have the tools. Well, neither do I. This right here worked perfectly with the little shirt buffering there. Okay, second super nasty string, and of course as I was pulling those, lots of plopping and dinging was happening from all of the ball ends of the old, disgusting, oxidized, rusty, naugahyde smelling string bits from the others that broke, falling down inside the body of the instrument. So, there we go. And, oh yeah, one massive dust bunny Please don't have dead animals in here. Please don't have dead animals in here. Okay. Oh, there's something. There's one of them. A string bit. Look at this dust bunny animal here. And then this piece of foam that somehow ended up in there. A punch from a piece of paper, which, you know, none of these, the dust bunny I get, and it has some paper punches in it, but this has no business being in there. This has no business being in there. So, you know, little kids may have been using this as just something fun to dump stuff in over the years. Okay, we're going to start with a little bit of a damp cloth. Meow! I got a cat in my window. He's yelling at me. I'm on the second floor too. He did a lot of work climbing to come up and see me. Hear him? That's Scrimbo, my kitty friend. He's a high quality kitty. He's quite a good kitty. Hi, Scrimbo. Hi. He's telling me about it. Just give it a once over and then let it dry. And wow, that's a 1,000,000% difference already from all the nasty that's on this thing. Alright, I'm going to go have a conversation with an animal real quick. More cleaning, just trying to get through that first layer of disgusting, oily, worked up nastiness. This is just a lightly damp cloth, no cleansers yet. I think a lot of anything stuck on here, some alcohol will get it out. And I'm just drying it out. Still got my buddy singing me a song, telling me about it. He's quite a cutie pie. It's a black cat. Scrimbo. Meow. 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 Yes. Now there's a theory that a cat's meow is born from an integration with a parasite that cats get that actually eat a baby's brain in the womb, and that they imitate this cry of a baby to attract a mother, and then it will give the parasite a chance to get into the mother so that it can infect the baby. So who knows if that's true or not, but there is a parasite that's in cats, and that's why they tell pregnant women not to handle kitty litter, because they can actually get this parasite that will eat the brain of a baby in the womb. That is not fiction. Unfortunately, it is true. Hi, Scrimbo. Are you going to eat baby brains? Alright, it's already looking significantly better. Yep. A lot cleaner. Next up will be a mild cleanser. Okay, now I'm going to try just a tiny hint of this alcohol, and see if we can't erase some of these nasty little marks without ruining the guitar finish. I don't think we're going to ruin the guitar finish, but we'll see. I'll spread it out a little bit. That's not doing anything to that one. There, it took that right off. So yeah, and it's getting that stuff. Seems to be good for like marker points and things. This seems, I don't know what that is exactly, but it's kind of stuck on there. So, good acoustics here on this acoustic. Very bright. Looks like someone was painting near this and got a little bit of it on there. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I could use something tiny and kind of scratch away at it, like maybe a knife point or something. I don't really want to harm this instrument any more than it's already been harmed. Like I said, this was a doorstop for many years. Alright, let's see if the ever tiniest little scooch with this. Oh, yeah, it chipped some of it. There we go. Alright, yeah. Just chipping away at it. And I'm not pushing. I'm not cutting into the finish at all. I'm just, oh, see? Just barely. Barely. There we go. Just breaking up the surface. Barely. Yep. Okay. Okay. And that might have actually been dried up by the alcohol enough to become fragile. We have a tiny bit right here. As you can hear, I still haven't got that nasty bit. Oh, and I'm looking now, there's some stress cracks in the finish all the way up the side. None of it is real. It's all just surface flavorings. It's a little harder blob there. Yeah. I'm thinking even like something plastic might scratch it off in a more safe way. Like I have like a little plastic tip for a razor cleaner, like one of those electric razors, and it has like a wire brush on one end and then a little plastic scraper on the other end, and I think that might be good for this. Yeah, that's getting some of it off there. Yeah, that's taking it right off. And it's also getting some, yeah, it's also softening the finish a little more than probably what I would want. Try some human saliva. There we go. And this guitar is, you know, kind of old. I'm sure it's, you know, it's been through the ringer. Let's see, this is the other side. Yeah, it has a silicone like tongue cleaner that's really soft and gentle, and that's taking some of the little bits off. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's coming off, but let's see about this side. Yep, it's taking that off too. I know, because I'm getting little bits of white stuff all over the place. And I haven't set down any of my t-shirts yet. I should have done that. Okay, that top part is now off, and it looks like it might have eaten a little tiny bit from the finish where it laid for a long time. We might expect a similar result from this part. And it ate up some of this silicone on there. Okay. All right. So that's coming off. So we've already removed one marker point. Trying to get the rest of that off. Okay. See if there's any more. Oh yeah, lots of like floor scuffs. These look like grayish marks, probably from when this sat near some exercise pads that I had for rolling and for like martial arts practice. So, you know, we were rolling around in our living room and stuff. And so yeah, that's the last of the things to remove here. And don't want to be too invasive, of course. I don't want to. This thing's fragile. It's very fragile. And let's go back to the tip of this knife. And I'm just going to try to, there we go. Honestly, I could probably use a toothpick to do this. I'm just lightly gliding it right over the area, and it looks like a paint blob. Someone painted something near this instrument, and a tiny blob of paint went on the top and also on the side. Okay. And it got into the finish pretty good, so might not be possible to get rid of every little bit of it. Alright, that's most of it. That's most of it gone, and yeah, it did get a hold of it a little bit there. Some finish effect. That's okay. It's got a little buddy here, scratch there. Alright, well, I've got this toothbrush out. Let's get some of this deeply bedded nastiness out of the saddle. Okay, yeah, there's some dried up schmutz on there, so we'll go ahead and see about a very light amount of alcohol cleaning that. And I know someone out there is probably yelling, don't use alcohol on a guitar finish, and if it was any other guitar I'd probably nod along with them, but in this particular case I know it's going to get the stuff off probably. For the most part, it's going to dry it up and get it off of the body, and it's going to dry up really, really fast. So, there we go. And it also helps to illuminate things that are there. Like this stood out once I cleaned it. so that I can have a better time with it later. Alright, so I can have an easier time dealing with it later. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the remaining tuning machines, and I'm just going to use, because I have the Leatherman in hand, I'm going to use the Leatherman to remove these screws here. That's super good Phillips head screwdriver on this. It's like it's never worn down for the life of the tool, and it just grabs on really tight, and you can get a good firm grip. If you can't, you can like turn it and have a edge to it to crank with. You can also just fold it and close it for a more modular approach. Where some people think a Leatherman is, you know, silly and tacky, I actually think they're really super useful, especially if it's an actual brand name Leatherman. They're very high quality multi-tools. They're not, you know, Amazon or Walmart $10 multi-tools. Actually, this Leatherman, the PST2, I think is worth between $80 and over $100, depending on, you know, which one it is. This is a good one. It's a really good tool that I use regularly. I won't say I use it every single day, but I use it virtually every day for something. It has pretty good measurements on it. It has a millimeter and inch rulers. It has good pliers. It's balanced. Very sharp knife. That just didn't want to come off there. Still kind of doesn't want to come off. It's on the other end though. Oh, it has some string caught up in it still. So remove that, and it fell out. And then these two parts will need to come out. So we'll approach that from this end. There's that one. There's that one. Again with the Leatherman. Alright, now the headstock is empty. We've got still so much to do on here. Lots of nasty old parts left over. This is fun. I gotta say, I'm having fun. This is actually pretty fun. Yep. Next up, ruler. Test the for front relief. Then I'm going to clean up the headstock some more, install the tuning machines, install the tuning machines. First I'm going to do the neck. Then I'm going to install the tuning machines. Then I'm going to clean the body the rest of the way, treat the neck, and then put strings on it and use the strings to line up the nut. Once the nut's lined up, I'm going to either, depending on how much I need to do with the nut, I'll probably go ahead and sand the nut off of the nut slot and then install it. Hopefully that'll be the way to do it. Alright. Okay, it turns out my Chinese chicken McNugget measure, it does work. 1 fret down, and it's showing some forward relief, as it probably should. So I'm going to go back a little to straighten out the neck. And actually I just realized that's definitely not the wrench to use for this. This is a case where there's no room to turn a long flat wrench, so I have to use one of the cheap ones that come with every Glary guitar you ever bought. So I'm going to go ahead and add some relief. And I've just been cleaning. I've been cleaning it with water, with a lightly damp rag. Of course I'm going to polish it later and it will be like polishing a turd. But in case you don't have one of these, a ruler will do the same thing. So as I put this ruler down on here, as I'm looking, I can see there easily, very easily. This, I can totally see that there's a gap and that there is forward relief with a standard knuckle wrapping school ruler. So you're not stuck in expensive slotted straight edge or notched straight edge or notched fret neck edge or whatever weapon you want to name it. Relief checking device that you might have. Okay, so of course I have many dozens of these wrenches. And let's go in here and give it a oh wait a minute. That, oh boy, is that fat. That's a fatty. I don't know. Batman, I'm a little bit scared. I don't even know. That is fat. That is a fat hex. Phew. Well, I'll have to break out my big hex wrenches that are not necessarily only for guitar work. And I'm sure I have the right size for this because I have a lot of hex wrenches. For whatever reason, I guess I thought I was going to be using them. Alright, let's see here. Yes. First we'll try this great big assembly of them. Here's a nice fat one. Aha! Let's see. And we've still got, that's a good feeling movement with the rod there. Okay, first try. Hey, it's like I guessed it first try. Do I know which one this is? No, I don't. Let's see what it says on here. I think it is a 3/16 or a 5/32. Let's see which one it fits in, and then I'll know. It is not marked on the wrench itself. It is marked on the carriage. Okay. Yes, this is a 3/16 wrench, so slightly larger than what you would use for a modern instrument. Let's see if it did any van damage. I think I might have added relief. Wow, maybe I did it backwards. Yeah, I probably was thinking backwards because I'm used to doing this from the other end of the guitar. Let's go, and it's got a loose spot, of course, which means I have to try to get it tight in the little tight zone there, and it's, oh god, that's probably a one. It's not a two dual action. So as I loosen it, it's just getting looser. Fun. That's magical. I give it a second. Because if it's got relief with no string tension, and that did nothing. Yeah, that did nothing. That's the news that I truly was waiting for, was the truss rod does nothing. Here we go. It's starting to grab. Okay. I think it's starting to grab. It's not. It's not doing anything. It's probably going to come off if I keep doing this. Yeah, I don't recommend doing what I just did. Let's see. A lot of schmutz on there. Nasty frets. Yeah, these frets are nasty. I'm very much looking forward to playing this again. My plan is when my kids get home from school today, they hear the resonant sound of an old acoustic guitar and they go, "Oh, did Papa fix the doorstop?" And then that will be the beginning of the rest of my day. Okay, let's see here. It's doing, actually that might have made it worse, yeah. Oh wow. So well, let me see here, let me lift this up. No, that's way worse. That is incredibly bad. Okay, let's go the other way. I just didn't put enough on it. That's probably what it was. I just didn't put enough on it to get it to go, and that I was actually going the right direction. And I'm French, whatever, French Canadian. I'm a Canuck. I'm just kidding. I'm an American. I live in the United States of America, in the USA. And you know, even though I'm from Merca, I like to buy things from USA because it's near here. This is weird feeling. Like, it feels like it's really doing nothing. It feels like it's just kind of turning and yet doing nothing. Yeah, that's probably not the best indicator. Oh boy. And some stuff coming out of here is also probably, yeah, I shouldn't be able to turn the truss rod by hand, I don't think, and yet, yeah, that's turning. I'm rolling it with my finger. Wow. It's probably not a good sign. Okay, let's see. I think it's, yeah, it's back a little. Maybe? Oh God, I don't know. Mommy, I'm scared. Wow. I don't think this truss rod does anything. Wait a minute. It just got tighter. It got tighter again. Okay, I'm tightening. That's tighter. That's tighter. Right when I said it wasn't working, it said, wait a minute. No, I've still got some restrictiveness left in my hole. All right. Unlike some people I know. All right. So, I love cold soda pop. And my son asked for some diet soda pop because we don't want him drinking too much sugar, right? So Erin, I'll just call her Erin, that's easier to do that, bought a giant case of Diet Sam's Cola. And I told him the whole story of Sam's Club, right? How Sam's Club was started by Sam Walton, who was the founder of Walmart, and that it used to be you had to have a membership to go to Sam's Club. I don't know if they still do that. And it was a place where you could get extra special deals to commemorate Sam Walton, right? And that, I think that's slightly flatter. It is. I think it is. It might be. Yeah. Okay, we might be getting somewhere. So, and then I told him that Diet Cola is repugnant, that I could never drink it, and that it's disgusting, and that I can't stand Diet Coke, and that I only really like Coca-Cola, right? But my Coca-Cola hadn't arrived yet, for whatever reason, and all they brought us that day was the Diet Coke, even though they were supposed to bring us like $100 worth of groceries, right? So, of course, late at night, I'm thirsty, I'm downstairs, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try one of these Diet Colas. It doesn't taste anything like Diet Coke. I was actually like, wow, this tastes really super good. It doesn't taste like Diet Coke, which I couldn't drink if it tasted like Diet Coke. So I drank a few of them and I really liked it, right? Then I was like, okay, I love Coca-Cola. Let's try the Sam's regular cola, right? And it tastes like Coca-Cola. And it's really, really good. And it's cheaper than Coca-Cola. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. So that's an adventure for you. But it has too much sugar, and it's not good for you. And you shouldn't drink too much of it. That's flattening out. Actually, that might be having... Yeah, that's flat. It might even be grabbing a little bit of a back bow. But I don't know, because this isn't a good truss rod. Notched straight edge. It's Chinese and kind of warpy feeling. Yeah. I'm not going to call it straight, but I'm going to call it hetero. Okay, so there we go. Alright. Now, I don't recommend using cheap Chinese notched straight edges. These are first off, the edges are sharp. So this could scratch the crap out of your fretboard. This wasn't buffed or sand or anything. This was just like machine popped, and it's not perfectly flat. I just don't recommend using these, honestly. And they're super crappy and cheap. The one you should get is from, I think it's from Philadelphia Luthiers. They're here in America, and it's the guitar neck check made in the USA. And it's been softened, it's very lightweight, it's extremely rigid, and they're inexpensive. So made in the USA, rigid, lightly softened so it's not jagged or sharp. Yeah, best stuff, best stuff. They also do rockers. So yeah, I recommend looking that up. I don't know if it was Philadelphia or someone else, but if you look for it, you can actually find good deals. Like the best can opener I've ever had in my life. Still used today, made in the USA. It was cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks or something. It wasn't much for a high quality product. So yeah, that's pretty much flat. I'm happy with it. This is old. I'm going to let it sit a little bit. And then I have to put the tuning machines on it, and that means I need to check all those screw holes. I might be breaking out some glue and my little drill bit and some toothpicks in case any of these holes are not grippy anymore, which some of them probably aren't because the guitar's fallen over so many times. And so, you know, and I'm going to be using an extremely advanced, sought after tool of the luthiers that, you know, if you're going to, honestly, if you're going to be a respectable guitar tech, you're going to need to use this stuff. And I know people don't like being told about exclusive things that you have to work on guitars, you know, like school rulers and multi-tools and stuff. But this stuff, you know, I have to just step outside of the little circle here of comfort and just tell you, you really need this stuff if you're going to be doing work on guitars. And that's Elmer's glue, okay, Elmer's glue, just Elmer's white, all-purpose, I guess some people call it school glue. And that's what I'll be using on the nut, and that's what I'll be using on myself, maybe even for dinner. Okay, so we have the headstock, and we're just checking out. I can already see right here a screw was torn out. This one looks like it was probably torn out. This one looks like it was probably torn out. They all look a little nasty and a little funky. Okay, that one was definitely torn out because it's much wider than it's supposed to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good, that's good. That's good. That looks maybe tore out. Tore out, tore out, tore out, tore out. Good, good. Oh, it's about half and half, maybe a little more on the torn out side. So we have Pooth ticks here, and we're gonna stuff them. So yeah, just cut them and stuff them. I've got the okay, got some glue. I hope there's enough glue in here. I don't know. I might have to look up some, look around for some glue if that's not enough. And I guess cutting these, you know, cutting them close so that you don't have a bunch of dangly, hangy stuff is probably preferable. So I'm using a little tool here, and then there we go. That's exactly what I want to do right there. I just jam that down in there. So I'm going to see if I can't get some glue to come out here. I don't even know if glue's going to come out of this thing. I might need to test the tip. Oh man, it's been long time since I've dealt with this stuff. It's been okay. That's coming through. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Well, I think the tip is clogged up because it's yeah, it's not. I don't remember how to. There we go. I remember as a kid knowing how to get the glue. Yeah, there we go. Get the glue out of the tip of one of these things. But boy, has it been a long time. Shoo. And I do have some other glue somewhere that's probably better, like, I don't know, Gorilla Glue or something like that. I know it's not dry. It's just not coming out. All right. Okay, just pulled that off, and there we go. Okay. Yeah, when all else fails, you demand compliance. Oh yeah, it's just coming out the side here. So, okay, first one. There we go. That's in there. Now, I don't know if that's coming out the sides or what. That's what's supposed to do, is come out the sides. Okay, so I'm going to use the shirt. I've got this cut one, and I'll go ahead and cut another end off of it. And I'll probably get 3 out of this one. Okay. Well, I know there's glue in here. There we go. Maybe there's less than what I thought, though. Now, that's a particularly bad one right there. Go. I'll be a little semi-forceful with it just to make sure it gets down in there. Okay. Oh. Okay. Where's that middle one? Right. And now it's flowing. All right. Oh yeah, excellent, excellent. That's a good one. Better be more gentle though. Let's be a little more gentle here. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, I think we got a motion now, and we're moshacking. Okay. Now, I guess in theory, if you wanted to be 20% more redneck about this, you could forego the glue and really just jam toothpicks in the holes and then screw the screws into the toothpicks, and they're going to grab on. What you're doing is you're giving more surface and more diverse, compacted, stronger surface for the screws to grab onto, and it will still work. You might probably end up with looser screws faster, but it will work. You know, you'll get a similar result. So yeah, if you tear out, for whatever reason, suppose you're using a guitar as a doorstop, and you tear out the tuning machines by continually knocking the guitar down onto the floor, then you can. Here's a scenario for you. Oh. So, okay, we have the two good ones left. There we go. All right. Now these ones I probably should have used the sharper end, because, you know, just to make sure it will fit, but it's in there. Now that's in there, and one more to go, and you get to pick a toy from the bucket. One time when we were at the dentist, before my dentist freaked out at me and messed up my head, which is a different story, we got to pick out from the prize bucket, right? It's like a big turtle with a bunch of little plastic crappy toys in it. My brother, whose name was Leo, of course, picked out a lion. Ah, Leo the lion, right? And then as we were driving home, my brother goes, "Look at this lion, Jason." And he handed it to me. And he handed it to me upside down. And I looked down at the lion, and the lion had a giant set of balls and a wang on his underside. Like, you know, gratuitous, seriously. Whoever made this toy put a set of anatomically correct nuts and device on the lion. So yeah, how about that? Good times. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and clip these. That hit my hi-hat and then landed on my snare drum. Okay. All right. And we have a fresh play field for nice tight screws to fit in, and that will be probably good. We'll see. Ah, that's really nice. I like that. Might be the way to handle that. Yeah. Could sand it, I guess. Get in there. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. Yeah. Okay. Let's use my thumbnail. Honestly, it's toothpicks. So flatten them out. All right. Looking good. Now these, like I said, are, in my opinion, extremely nice tuning machines. They have some pressed design, some art on them. They came with screws and guides, and I thought, wow, they're really classy looking. Let's see how well this fits. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Okay, but I'll put them in second. Okay, so the guides are there. And here we have this one. There we go. I'm just kind of sorting them out. Okay. And there we go. Wow. Oh, the whole time I was pushed too far forward. So now we have these on here ready to go. Okay. All right. I think for this one I'll probably go ahead and grab a little bit gentler Phillips head. And I'm going straight in. Yeah, I'm going to be aggressive. So yeah, that'll be the next thing. Front in there. Try the small one. There we go. And you know, if you want to have a slightly easier time doing this, then you will get a drill bit and then just go ahead and drill a little tiny hole in there. But because I just added the wood, the extra wood and the glue, I actually want it to grab onto as much wood as possible. And so I'm not doing that. And this is a nice tight fit, and it's lined up and it's even. As you can see, the base, if you can see, the base of the tuning machines are the exact outline of the frame of the old tuning machines. So it fits right in there perfectly. So I guess I made a good call with that, maybe. And I'm sure, I love these open back tuners. I chose them because I wanted a more classical looking open back tuning machines for this guitar, but also I liked the imprint. I liked that they were, you know, I just liked everything about them. The brand seemed kind of campy and cool, you know, I just like that. I have an eye for quality sometimes, and I really think these stood out amongst all the other ones. And I thought, hey, you know, those are just kind of saying, hey, pick me, pick me. And yeah, they were slightly more expensive than the cheaper ones that would have matched up, but they weren't as expensive as, like, you know, Fender branded tuning machines or something crazy like that. I need to get that divided in there. So yeah, gonna turn this into a player again after so long that it has sat there. All right. Okay, we have the little spacers on. They might be a little loose here on a couple of them from where the spacers had been knocked out, and so I might put a touch of glue in there, or possibly crimp the edge of it so that it's more catchy. But all the tuning machines are screwed in, and I think they look pretty good. They certainly look a lot better than those you know, cheap metal, you know, ear-shaped ones. I think these look good. I like them. Okay, and they look like they work. They turn. Ow, my thumb still hurts from being burnt. Alright, so that part is done. Next up, we'll see about addressing the neck. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly use a rocker and just see what we're dealing with here. And the very first one on the what is that, on the high E, got a little bit of rocking. Yep, a little bit of rocking. Okay. Whoa, there's a catch in the fret right there. There's a divot. Let me take a look. Yeah, that's nasty. That's going to have to be crowned out. Wow. Okay. Well, it's not awful. A lot of flat frets. They definitely need recrowned, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of fan damage we're looking at here. The only movement I had was in these high end up here near the hole, sound hole, and so that's pretty good, but still, I want to crown these frets. They absolutely need to be crowned. It's really not a choice. It's been, you know, a ridiculously long time since this thing has had any kind of, maybe it's never been worked on. I wouldn't be surprised if this instrument has never had a tech work on it in the life of the instrument. So yeah, let's go ahead and prep it up for that. I'll go ahead and get a brown Sharpie, and we'll go ahead and flat stuff there. Very flat, yep. Yeah, that's bad too, because when I crown it, that might make a flat spot in a place where you don't want it, up there where the jangly stuff is going to vibrate and buzz. I'm just doing this so I can see how much work I've done with my abrasive block. I use a block. I don't use one of those big sanding blocks that you have to constantly put sandpaper on. I actually use a block, and I need to get a new one just because I used it on other stuff that actually created a small indentation that I really don't want on it. But I use a small block. And you know, it's my preference to use it because it gives me more control over my work. I'm not, it's the same principle. You lightly slide the block over the frets, but it's smaller. It's long and thin, and it glides over a relatively small area, but it does the same work. It's just harsher. It's a stronger grit sanding block. I think it's, you know, almost the same speed, maybe a little slower, but it's what I use, and I get pretty good results with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to sand this down. I have to pick the, yeah, there we go. This nice flat end here. And I'm just going to sand this down. Okay, I can't see what I'm doing here. I'm doing the same thing that I'd be doing if I was using a very large block, but I can see by doing this very easily this fret is lower because the marker's not being hit by the sanding block. This fret is lower. So as I go over these 5 closer to the sound hole, I want to make absolutely sure that that marker is gone. And I'm not pushing, I'm just gliding this across the top as it removes material. I can see the surrounding frets getting flatter and flatter and flatter as I see that it's reaching the marking points on the lower frets. And this is giving me an even spread across those frets. Now, there are a couple reasons why I use this. One is convenience. It lasts much, much longer. I don't have to constantly put new paper over a block. It gives me more visual awareness of what I'm doing, more control over everything I'm doing. And these are cheap, readily available, abundant, and they do the same thing. Enough reasons for me, and if you want to say that's not a good idea, fine, that's totally fine. Tell me what I'm doing is crazy or it's not a good idea. I get exactly the same results as if I was using a great big block. Now I'm starting to see that it's getting closer to the lower frets. So I'm going to do this. Okay, I've went over the frets, and if you look, you'll see, let's see if I can get the light to shine on them. There's some, let me see there. Oh no, that's good. They're looking pretty good. Yep. No lines. That one little chipped out spot I think it's gone, and there we go. So I will give it a nice little brush over to get some of the metal off of it. Okay. And now I'm going to go over it again and crown each fret. And that's just a quick, easy thing. In this particular case, I think these are thinner than what I'm used to. So I'm going to want to make absolutely sure to use the right crowning file to match up with the size of these frets to get a nice new crown. And it's going to do this guitar wonders to have a nice new crown. Now when I go in here to do the final polishing, a lot of dirt is going to come off of this fingerboard. It's going to be kind of a rejuvenating process for the fingerboard to get all the nasty off of it. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and treat the neck with some lemon oil, which it's probably never had done to it in the whole life of the instrument. Alright. Now I think I lowered the 5 near the sound hole because there were a couple of spots that just didn't want to go down. Whether I wanted to or not, which I would choose to. Most of the time, just by default, I would choose to do that. But in this particular case, I wasn't intentionally. It's just there were a couple of spots where everything was higher up. And so it kind of just had to happen that way. So, I don't think my normal crowning file is right for this. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do this backwards. This makes it so that the handle isn't running on anything. And yeah, I'm not getting a line, and it's kind of grabbing at the edges. So I will look through my Hoscos and see if I can get a matching width for these thin of frets. Now it's definitely not my my F1s. I think it's F3s, maybe the thinnest of the F3s. Let's see. No, that's too thin. So we'll go one size up on the F3. Let's see. You definitely don't want the edges of the file to touch the fingerboard, but you also don't want to force too thin of a crown on the top of the fret. So this might be too thin. Let's see if I can get up. I'm getting a little bit of a line. Okay. Alright. So let's do the hard ones first. Nice and slow. And I'm just kind of, keeping it real here. I definitely don't want to hit the board. I want to hit the body. And nice thin line. Very, very thin line. I think that's right. I think I found the right size. So I'll look at the branding on my Hosco, and now I know which side to use in case I set my file down briefly. And these are my Japanese-made files. These are nice files. Like I said, I'd like to get the Hoscos with that are the handles on top, because working in the pocket near the body and stuff, having these weird rubber handles, I don't like it. It's uncomfortable for me because of that. I don't want to hit the body. I don't want to mess anything up. And that's nice and thin, very thin. Yes, I kind of get a little grabby on the end there. very thin. Again, nice and thin. Try to. I'm shimmying myself off the camera here. I like that. There we go. Pretty thin. I'll go on this end now. Oh yeah, that's very, very nice. Oh, this actually is a lot of fun, knowing that this guitar is going to be, you know, completely rejuvenated by this process. The frets have you know, never had any work done. The guitar hasn't been played in a extremely long time, and I think this is going to be very, very good. Hopefully we'll end up with a good sounding instrument. Okay, that's good. I think it's rounding off. Oh, no, I want to get it thin. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yep. Now this was an especially flat one because it was tall and it was near a short one. So. That's flattening up. Okay. All right. I'm interested in seeing what this fretboard is going to look like once it has been sanded with that, or not sanded, but buffed out with that quad-aught steel wool that I use on the frets. Yeah, I want to see how those are going to be. Oh, let me see that. That's got that middle point. Yep. That's got the middle point. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Now you don't want to tilt too much. If you've already got flat spots, tilting is going to accentuate those flat spots, and so you want to be pretty careful about rocking and tilting and overdoing it. Now this one needed rounded because it had that flatter spot, so you have to a degree. But if you overdo it, then you'll end up with a flat spot, and I definitely don't want that. You don't want flat spots at all. So that's the worst thing. Oh yeah, that's the very thin, very, very thin, coming out the top for the crown. Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and take my prescription glasses off because for whatever reason I can see closer better now. Vision is gone. Okay, you guys have seen this probably dozens of times. Okay, I've taken down recrown. Now we're going to sponge Now, this is really rounding the top. It's kind of helping to join any little stair-step kind of rigidity around the crown into the top to round the top of the fret. And it's good. Very, very good for that job. Huh. Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love that effect of cleaning that up so perfectly. It's very much, very rewarding. Okay, now I'm going to get ready for the quadot. Okay, now we're going to break out the steel wool. I'm going to use a fresh piece for this. And I'm just going to go ahead and start here. Why not? And I'm going to polish. This is also removing years of shite from the fretboard. And even though the end of the fretboard likely hasn't seen much finger dirt and otherwise every other kind of dirt, as I get closer to the cowboy chord zone, more and more is going to be revealed. So yeah, going for a nice, shiny, clean fret. Yes, and it is revealing some of the character of these frets. They are not exactly, you know, they're not perfect. They're old and they've been dropped and messed with and all manner of molested. So hopefully we can restore these frets enough to be playable. I can already see though the restorative kind of effect it's having on the fretboard. It's really cleaning the fretboard and the frets at the same time. You can see there. Look at the dirt here, dirt here, dirt here. As I run over that, we're going to see the original fretboard start to come back. And there it is. It's also very good to hit the edges, the top edges of the frets. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this. Okay, I'm getting closer to the headstock. And I'm seeing, like what I said, the transformation of the fretboard back into a cleaner, more beautiful, more usable wood. And I wanted to show, because this is dirty, this is extremely dirty along this part, the transformation process as I go over these frets and over the part of the board, what we're going to end up seeing. So I might go ahead and zoom in a tiny bit here and see if we can't get a look at it. Okay, here we go. All right, because it is impressive. Look at that. It is erasing it. It's erasing that disgusting filth. See that? It's taking it right off the board while it's polishing and rounding and softening and perfecting that fret. I could really see why it's easy to choose something like this for this work, even though it's really messy and time consuming. The level of control and also what it does, that you can get the treatment of the fretboard and the frets. This one especially is really filthy, and you can see it's erasing it. It's erasing the filth and restoring and softening the board. It's preparing it for that drink of lemon oil it's going to get. And that shininess. Here we go, more. Clean. So much cleaner. Yeah, that's really, really nice. Okay. It's neat seeing a disgusting, neglected instrument get restored to usability. Usually it's just, you know, maintenance and upgrades, but this one is it's going to be very neat. And I think my son even said he wanted to play it, and I think my daughter said she wanted to play it, which is neat. I made her a guitar, or bought one for her and customized it, I should say, and she didn't like it. She just kind of, and I said, okay, well, you want me to take it back? She goes, yeah, sure. And it was an electric guitar, and maybe she's an acoustic gal. All right, there we go. And I think I'm ready to vacuum up all this nasty steel wool droppings everywhere. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and treat the neck. I think now's a good time for that. And the nut's not on, so I won't have any problem reaching the very edge there. Oh, it smells great, that lemon oil. Saw a guy build a Les Paul yesterday. He built it himself to exact specifications of a 59 with select wood, using his own tools. He demoed it. It was amazing. And then he had like this expensive looking little can of fretboard treatment, right? And he opened it, and I was looking at like, wow, it was like a little like aluminum can with a cone top, and It's like, what is that stuff, right? And he's putting it on the fretboard, and he's, you know, working it in and stuff, and then it said at the bottom, he put a caption at the bottom, lemon oil. And I was like, well, that's what I use. Mine's just in a plastic bottle. He had this can, you'd think it was like, I don't know, space age material. You can't get it anywhere. Nope, it's just lemon oil. And that's what this is. This is the ultimate lemon oil. According to the bottle, it is ultimate lemon oil. So yeah. Wow. This neck went from grody to gorgeous. And the frets are just begging to be played. Wow. Let's hope I don't put string tension on it and the neck just pops off and is like on top of my head. So yeah, I'm gonna treat the neck, let it sit for a while, and then string it up, set the nut. I'm gonna get a nice thin pencil and try to mark off where I need to file the nut to. File the nut, glue the nut, play the guitar like a nut. Alright. I went ahead and re-adhesed the loose Santa Rosa Folk Guitar Company label using some Space Age Elmer's glue. And as that dries, it will be in there well. So that's one more thing done. Still waiting on that fretboard to the lemon oil to work in. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and sand down this nut to try to get it in a good spot. I'm going to sand, then test fit, and sand, then test fit, and just see if we can't get it to line up just right. It's really just like about a ½ millimeter on each side, because it's a millimeter too big. So I definitely don't want to be too invasive here and really start sawing away at it until it's too small. But I certainly don't want the nut hanging over the end of the neck. So we're going to just grind away, then test fit until I'm pleased with it. And it looks like a lot needs to come off. So that's the next thing. Okay, the strings are on. Everything's cleaned up. Saddle seems to be pretty good. The strings are tightened but not under full tension yet. I went ahead and filed the edges of the nut and tried to line it up. I think the high E might be a little low, but I don't know. It looks pretty good, but we'll see. And I'm just going to take a look at the headstock here. And you know, this neck looks wonderful. Under tension, I don't know how high this action's going to get, or what will need to be done, but we're at the beginning of the last stretch here before this becomes a usable musical instrument again. playing. Oh yeah, I got it as low as I could. It's still not where I want it, but I am really happy with how it sounds. But right now it's very much playable. Well, it's 100% more playable than it was because it was, you know, junk. And this was a great effort. I got to show it to my kids. Love the open back tuners. The nut's great now. Like I said, I just need to file it a little bit. I want to give it a day to sit and breathe, and then just see how how it handles tomorrow. And you know, I'd like to try to add just a little bit less relief. Try to get some more back bow. Not really back bow because it still has relief, but just to take some of that middle out of it. So yeah, just a little more touching up things here and there to perfect it, and I think she'll be a player. But I'm not going to let this guitar go into disrepair again. I'm hoping that it will, you know, just keep on getting better for how much work was put into it, and I'm pleased with it. So the checklist is: this was dusty, dirty, nasty, had been a doorstop, knocked over dozens of times over the years. The tuning machines had been knocked out of it for how many times it had fallen over. The tuning machine holes were ripped out from that happening. The nut was cracked and then broken and gone. There were only 2 strings left on it, and they were really loose and nasty. The body was full of giant dust bunnies and little foam bits and punched out paper dots and broken string bits and just all kinds of dust and gunk. The label on the inside was coming out. The whole body was completely disgusting and filthy with prints and dirt and just years of accumulated nastiness, covered in a layer of years and years of dust. The fretboard was disgusting from end to end. It was really nasty. Now the fretboard looks almost new. The frets were gross. They had some little chopped out bits, probably where it had fallen and hidden something. Some pretty deep grooves in the cowboy cord area. Yeah, so this got the works. Level crown polish, the edges, the fretboard got completely cleaned out and treated with lemon oil. The tuning machine holes got filled with wood, glued, and then re-screwed with brand new tuning machines that are open gear tuning machines. A brand new nut that I filed for it, and I'm happy with it now, although it needs some more nut filing to lower the action a little bit, but it's seated well. All the frets are smooth and perfect now. I re-glued the label on the inside. cleaned it out, of course. I vacuumed out the inside, got all the dust and dirt. I cleaned the guitar completely with some damp rags and stuff. Then I after everything was done, the last thing I did was polish the body with some of that guitar polish. And I've been playing it and tuning it and playing it. I've been adjusting the truss rod to see how low I can get the action. And so yeah, it's been a relatively complete restoration of what was an abandoned, broken, and discarded instrument. I put this really cool rose sticker on here. I found it was on again, a real skateboarding decal from the company Reel. And of course, it's a real decal. And I thought because this was the Santa Rosa folk guitar company, this would look good on it. So I also cleaned up the headstock a little bit. And very pleased with how the guitar is now. It's a player. I also looked over and found right here at the connection, these two frets here are actually high. And I don't know if that's because of the truss rod's motion that I've been adding. Either way, I'm going to be taking the strings off eventually and redoing these two frets. And then I'm sure both octaves will be there. So, she's done. And if you stuck through to the end, thanks, and consider liking, subscribing, commenting, whatever, chat with me, send me messages, say something, share it with your friends. Again, don't be afraid to subscribe. I do a lot of guitar content if you like guitar stuff. And have a good one.